Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening. And we're going to be talking about coping with change. And part of the change, apparently, I haven't dealt with is the change of lighting. So we'll try and get some more lights on here. You could say it's ambient light, right? Mood lighting. Wait a minute, I got one more that I need to put on. It's one of the joys about trying to broadcast from a hotel room. The whole of the normal um, routine is different. First of all, what I wanted to show you, for those of you who might not have seen it, hi Benji, good to see you. This is the beautiful quilt that Pat sent me all the way from Newfoundland. Isn't it absolutely stunning? For when my house is all put back together again. And in the meantime, I get to enjoy it. But it's going to be wonderful in my TV area. You're just going to give it so much love. And then, if that wasn't enough, she sent me a second one for my bedroom, which you all know was blues and grays. And look at this. Isn't this beautiful? And probably the light's not doing it justice. But I want to tell you, when it is on the bed, it looks absolutely magnificent. And all these blues and grays pop out. I don't know what I ever did to deserve Pat in my life, but I'm very, very grateful indeed. So my new bedroom will look absolutely wonderful. We were talking at lunchtime today about the incredible power of the law of attraction, and how many of the things that I had lain in bed and said to myself, I really could do with I know I need a new roof and I'm not sure how to pay for it, or I know I need to do work on the boiler, but I don't think it's urgent. But if it is, I will be, something will happen to tell me that. And, it was one of the funniest things, because of all the other things that I had dealt with the insurance people, I didn't hear them talk about my water heater, my thing that boils my water up for me. And so I had sent them an email this week, and I said, I didn't hear any comment about the water heater, so I'm presuming that's okay, knowing that it was in the room, it was between the two rooms that I know they used to extinguish the fire. Well done, Sharon. Very happy to see you there. Anyway, because, the fire was like here, and they came in from this side, completely drowned my bathroom and devastated it, but also came in from the guest bathroom and went up. And that was above the room that I call my studio. They call my second bedroom. See, I made a right blotch of my eye makeup here. Never mind. We can do this. We're all girls together here, except for Benj. So, and what did I know? All that water going both ways, where was it going to end up? In the studio, and this water heater was between the studio and the bathroom. So I was pretty sure that it was deluged with water. But I didn't say that. I just said, did my water heater survive? And they said, no, sorry, Sal, it got totally water damaged. I'm going, okay, I get a new water heater too. Sharon saying I was sitting in the dark with no power due to the weather. Well, here you are. You got much more power and much better weather. By the way, I hope you all saw that I put up thoughts and prayers for our Lolo in Louisiana, because that hurricane is going to go straight across her neck of the woods. And so I wish them all great, peace. What can you say to somebody where there's a hurricane coming straight at them? Especially when I know the family, Heather, and I think they're all in manufactured homes like mine. So, that's like devastating. Whenever Sharon comes on, she always makes us laugh. Glitter goddess. Sorry, Jody, that's not my name. For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin. Don't you think this is just so awesome? I can just see it as the background for the broadcasts. In fact, I'm just going to probably keep it right here until I move. Oh, I wish I hadn't done that. I'm going to keep it right here for. Okay, yeah, it's a great backdrop. I agree. I should not have done that, people. Anyway, so here we go. The only thing is I'm wearing the wrong color against it. So this color would probably look better, yeah, against. Never mind. It is both colorful and cozy. I quite agree. So today we were talking about this law of attraction, and what I want you to see is how often in your life you think about things and then they actually unfold as they should. The other thing is, as I have said time and time again, be careful what you ask for. And because I'm amazed how many people ask for bad things to happen. They don't mean to, but just in what they say, the way they've worded it is asking for something bad. Like, I'd give my left arm to have X, Y, and Z, and you're going, really? Do you want to be saying that? Or my back teeth, or whatever it is that your favorite sayings are. Jody, you had one. I can't remember what it was, but I know when I first met you, I went, you may want to stop saying that one. Think about what you're asking for here. And so to me, it's like, let's all think about this and let's be more aware. I must say that I took, between the two broadcasts, I got in the car, even though it was raining, I got in the car and went and drove down to where I live when I'm not here. And I, went to the mailbox. Oh, yes. Jody was always saying, I can't wait for da-da-da to happen. And I suggested she might want to reword it to, I'm looking forward to. Do you understand what you're saying if you tell the universe, I can't wait for this to happen? It's just like, think about it, people. Because the universe, I think, listens. I really do. I'm a great believer that the universe listens to what you have to ask for. And that's why I said to Jody, are you sure that's what you want to be saying? And she went, yeah, no. It was so cute. It really was. So I was very proud of myself this week. One of the things I managed to do was to get off my butt, go get a card for young Juliana, who I think is going to be, 9, 8, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. She's going to be 8 this year. Wow, that's amazing, isn't it? I think it's 8. Somebody will tell me. She was born 2012. So does that make her 9? No, because she would have been 1 in 2013, right? I think that's right. Anyway, so those of you who can work that out, let me know. I know that she is as old as the broadcast. 8, yes, I think she's going to be 8, because the broadcast started before she was born. We started broadcasting on August the 25th at 10:30. Benji pressed the button and said, there you are, you're a YouTuber. And she was born in October. So amazing, isn't it? How long? 8 years already. So let's have a little think here, because when you're talking about the law of attraction, it affects so many of the things about our lives that I wanted to make sure that we had some time to sort of talk about. Would you agree that the only time you fail is when you try something, fall down, and then don't get back up again? That if you cannot understand that part of success is falling flat on your face, then what you're doing is telling the universe, I really don't want it that badly. I just want it if I don't have to fall down. You see, everybody that's ever done anything really well has failed at it many times before they did it well. And I'm shocked. I don't know about you, but I'm shocked at the number of people who seem to think that they're meant to be able to do it perfectly the first time around. Do you know people like that? Well, I tried it and it didn't go very well, so I never did it again. Going, really, that was it? That was it? You just tried it once? I always remember Benji asking me about being a professional speaker, and I said, well, the way to become a good professional speaker is to start speaking. And don't worry about whether you get paid or not or whatever. Just start speaking. Get yourself in front of audiences so you can learn the pitfalls and what works and what doesn't, and develop a style. Because one of the most important things about being somebody who is a speaker is to have your own style. Not to copy somebody else's, but as you can probably imagine, the reason why people enjoyed listening to me was because of the peculiar style I had in speaking. Jody's saying Sal started out painting on little tiny paper squares. Yes, I think I've lost them all now with the water damage. And it took some time to develop that incredible pour painting talent she has now, working on a large canvas. And if you remember as well, probably the most impressive large canvas I did was that big eagle that I did, which actually was a total failure. Hi, Pat. Pat, we've decided this is the perfect backdrop for the broadcast when I get back into my TV room. Isn't that just beautiful? So, it really, it was amazing. But Jody is correct that I started doing my paintings, on tiny little squares, because I reckoned if I could do it in 1-inch squares, then I could do it on bigger ones. And when I got to the eagle, it was the first time I tried a canvas that was about as big as this painting above me. And I'm a great believer in, I just need to go with the flow. And I was hucking paint on and just doing what my gut told me to do. And I, tilted it and I did all sorts of things. And I looked at it and I went, well, there's a total mess. There is a total mess. And I got up and I walked away. But before I walked away, I decided I just turn it around to tilt the last bit. And when I turned it around, I realized there was a complete eagle swooping down. You just couldn't see it from the angle that I painted it when you turned it around. And I just looked up and said, thank you, God. That's a beautiful painting. Jeannie's saying, I've always told my daughter that there are two ways of doing things. You can do what everybody expects and you can enjoy doing lots of new things. We decided it was more exciting to be innovative. Yeah, it was funny enough. And Sam asked me here about being a speaker. Hang on, I got to scroll back. How did you find your own public speaking style? Well, it was the funniest thing, Sam. Somebody asked me if I could come and tell their people how I became a success, which I did. I said, and I couldn't believe that they actually wanted to pay me. And then I found out that I just told them the truth and they were laughing the whole way through. And so that I found really interesting, that you didn't have to be telling jokes. I just had to tell my truth and people would be laughing at me, right? So I told them the truth about stuff, which they didn't expect. And then at the end, they gave me a standing ovation and handed me a check. And I'm going, oh, and a present. This was like, not only did I get a standing ovation, which I got to tell you does feel good. There's no doubt about that. But, not only that, but they handed me a check and a present. And I'm going, this is the job for me. Not only do you get this incredible, a chance to talk to people and they seem to enjoy it, but they really appreciate it and they give you money and gifts. Well, how about that one? And I can remember doing one speech somewhere. I think I was in Alberta. And they gave me a gift, and I didn't have a chance to actually open it. And when I was going through the, and they had to rush me to the airport to get on my flight. And when I was going through the detection thing, they said to me something about what's in the box. I said, I have no idea. And they said, we do. I said, what? And they said, we know what's in the box because we just put it through the x-ray. And I said, well, is it nice? And they said, oh, yeah, it's really nice. That is cut crystal in there. I said, really? I said, yeah, that's a solid piece of cut crystal. And it was, and I don't know whether I will be able to find it again. I think it's in the shed. I don't think it got hit by the water. But, you know, it was just like, when I unpacked it, I went, they're quite right. It's quite magnificent. And it's one of those bits. Anyway, if I ever find it again, I will show it to you guys. So how did I find that? I think it is just that I was amazed that people just loved the way in which I talk naturally, that I talked with them, not at them. Does that make sense to any of you? That's what people said, you know, you're not like normal speakers, because normal speakers seem to talk at us, and you don't, you talk with us. And you seem to really understand us. And I said, well, you know, I've been in the audience. I know how boring that can be. So to me, I must say, I used to have a lot of fun. And some of you can probably imagine that give me a big stage and a microphone. I was up and down off that stage and doing all sorts of things all the time, because it was part of who I am. You know, I used to have a lot of energy, but then, as you all know, I could just go really quiet on the audience and totally slow down, and then hit them with a bit of 2x4 that they didn't expect to hear from me. And so to me, I got a reputation for hitting people in waves. You know, a lot of people said to me, you know, you can be laughing so hard at one moment, and then the next moment, you're almost in tears. And then a moment later, she hits you, yeah, straight across the face with some truth that you didn't expect. And so I guess I sort of learned that is who I am. Yeah, and that's how I met Benji. You know, I was actually speaking when I met Benji. He was in the audience. And, you know, Benji, I know that the day that Benji listened to me, I was talking about the power of love. And it was meant to be a leadership convention. And I remember somebody, after I did the speech, said to me, I don't know what you were talking about. This is meant to be a leadership thing, and you're busy talking about love. And I said, yeah, that's quite right. Juliana's birthday is on the 18th, I think. So she's got a way to go. That's why I mailed the card early. But I seem to remember, Benji, I was talking about that love that day. But I look at it and I go, I remember some of the people who were in that audience, and Benji was one of them. And did they turn out to be incredible leaders? And do they thank me for what I talked about? You see, I'm a great believer that part of great leadership is great love. Yeah, I believe in the power of a great heart. I really do. And so when you look at it, the people who would have resonated with that were people who were probably waiting to hear that it was possible to have not only the business smarts or whatever, but also that it was okay to have a big heart and to do things. And so to me, it's a really important thing that we don't try and say that this is what success looks like. And, you know, it has a money sign attached to it. I don't think that. I believe that success is that you do what you love to do and that you are happy doing. Hi, Isa. And are happy doing it. to me, that is the most important part. Benji said you spoke 3 times during that first event. Ethics, oh yeah, Abigail, yeah. Love story, and then the closing. All about, yeah, the different personality types. And, I would say, as you look at it, Benji, that through the time that, what is it, 15 years plus, that since then, how often have ethics become your deciding factor? And I know that happens to you a lot. And then, how important has love been in your story? And then how important have the different personalities been? And so I look at all of those things, and I think that every good leader needs to understand that it's a lot more than just being a critical thinker or, be prepared and not scared. It's about be in balance. And if you can be in balance, then you will be a leader. It's those, I said last week, you remember about the willow tree? The reason a willow tree lives is because it's able to bend. It doesn't stand solid. It lets the wind push it, and it moves with the wind, whichever way the wind blows. And yet, it is such a sustainable resource. And if you like, the willow tree is just so beautiful in the fact that it is able to withstand incredible elements. And that's what I would wish for all of us, right? Which is, as I'm dealing with all these changes, I went back to the house, as I was saying, and, I dropped off some clothes that one of my neighbors had kindly lent me. As you know, for the first couple of days, I was living in borrowed clothes. And, wow, and that's interesting. Jody's saying that says a lot, that Benji remembers exactly what you talked about during those leadership speeches so many years ago. Don't. Okay, you know what you're going to do. I know what I'm going to do if you keep saying nice things like that. But yes, it is true, Jody. I've got to say that is true. And a lot of people who heard me a lot longer than 15 years ago will tell you exactly what I spoke about now that I think about it, because they continue to tell me. But, isn't that what a good speech is about? That you remember it. I would ask you all, how many speakers have you heard in your life and you can't remember a damn thing about what they said? So to me, that's not a good speaker. To me, a good speaker is one that can put something in your brain and it stays there. And you know exactly who told you that. Like the guy, that I first met, when he said, to me, understand you've already made as much money as you'll ever make out of your good points. If you want to change the world, you need to make your bad points work for you. And I'm going, and that's when he said, obviously you don't believe me. And I said, oh, you're smart too. Yeah. And, what are your top 3 bad points? And I told him, I talk too much. I have verbal diarrhea. I don't have any qualifications, which was true at the time. And then I'm too honest for business. Yeah. Don't have any qualifications, and I talk too much. And he said to me, why don't you talk for, if your most natural talent is talking, why are you not talking for a living? And I said, yeah, but what would I talk about? It wasn't, no, I couldn't do that. It was, yeah, but what would I talk about? And then he said, why don't you talk about being a success without any qualifications? Because you could be as honest as you like. It would be your story. And I said, yeah, but you don't understand. I'm not a success. He said, become one. I said, okay. And I did. Sharon saying, more than I can count. I do remember Governor Kay Ivey speaking about 15 years ago before she was governor. Yes. You see, that is the whole thing. If you hear a good speech, you remember it. And so this guy that said to me, you know, take your bad points and make them work for you. I've always remembered that. You know, being somebody that has a big mouth and opinions isn't always a bad thing. And yet I'd grown up that little girls should be seen and not heard. So you understand, I had a real conditioning and a real need to change that thinking for me to be able to get up and speak and think that people would want to listen to what I had to say. How many of you have got those conditioned programs that you were given that you need to change in order to be happy? And so, you know, I look at it and I went back to the house. And when I dropped off the clothes. And when I dropped off the clothes, I noticed the dumpster truck that is now next to my home was full to the gunnels. You know, it was overflowing. How many of you know that that hurt? Because what could I see? Bits of my house. And you remember at lunchtime, I was telling you, it's not that you can't feel. You need to feel the feeling and then process it and move on. And I literally looked at, you know, bits of the insulation was out of the roof, obviously. And you know, there was an upturned toilet and things. And my heart broke in that split second, I don't mind saying. And Jeannie's saying, I know it hurts because she's been through that herself. And so to me, it was just like, what did I need to do? Let's see how much you all know. So here I am, and I'm literally driving. I didn't stop. I'm driving past my own home, and in that split second, I'm watching all this stuff from my home piled up in a dumpster, you know, one of those big dumpsters. And as my heart broke, what did I need to do? What did I need to change to make it so I could drive? And while you're answering that, let me tell you, Sam's just said, I used to be such a natural performer, but now I have terrible anxiety speaking publicly. I know I have important things to say, but part of me goes, look, lady, no one wants to listen to you. Well, Sam, if you want to believe that, you go right ahead. You go right ahead, honey. If you want to spend the rest of your life believing that nobody wants to listen to what you have to say, that is your right. But deep down, you know that isn't true. You see, imagine if I started every broadcast going, well, nobody really wants to listen to me. Imagine if I started every broadcast with that in my mind. You see, I've always said, Sam, and I need you to get up close to the computer right now. Can you do that? I need you to hear me loud and clear for a second. See, what I've always said, if my broadcast can help one person with one thing today, then it will be worth the time I take to put it together. You see, Sam, that's what I honestly believe. So I ask you to do that for yourself and say, hey, I might not please the world, but one person at least needs to hear what I have to say, and I want to be there for that one person. How about that? And I assure you that every time somebody writes to me or somebody says, thank you so much for the broadcast tonight, I needed to hear that. Do you understand? I go, okay, I can continue. All right, and Sharon saying, me too, Samantha. I put a mic in my hand and play music and I sing like a canary. Put a mic and tell me to give a speech, I freeze. What is the difference for you, Sharon? You know you have a good voice. You don't think you have anything good to say. And Jeannie is saying, I have something good to offer. My thoughts on being a good friend and a decent human. Yeah, and an incredibly thoughtful cook. From what I've heard about your stories, Jeannie, you're an incredibly thoughtful cook. I think about how many of you know that Jody probably didn't even know when we met her the incredible impact her words could have on people, or that she would turn out to be the greatest diabetic coach in the history of some of my listeners, including yours truly. I'm pretty sure she didn't think that. And, every time that my doctor congratulates me for what I've done with my blood sugar readings, I go, don't thank me, thank Jody. Who's Jody? She's the admin, DearMamaSal. Well, whoever she is, tell her she's doing a good job. I say, okay. And I do regularly. Yes, and Jeannie writes incredibly well, doesn't she? Yeah, Jodie's mentioning that. So you see, we've all got incredible gifts, but most of us, wasn't it Mandela who said that? We're not scared of being failures. What we're scared of is just how brilliant we might be. And so, Sharon, I would ask you about that. I would ask you about, how funny you are. Maybe, yeah, all right. So, Sharon, this bit is especially for you. One of the funny things that I found? Most people are dead scared of getting up on stage because people might laugh at them. I found out I could make an awful lot of money by having people laugh at me. So I stopped trying to be all serious. I just was me. You see, it's about use your talent. If you are naturally funny, which you are, Sharon, then don't try and give serious speeches, Give them your view of these serious subjects and see how people enjoy it. And so the same thing is if I go back to when I first met Benji, and I said, you want to be a speaker? Speak. Benji, in return, if you remember, many years later, said, Sal, if you want to lose weight, put the right food in your body. It wasn't rocket science. It was just like, it's simple, Sal, if you want to lose weight, eat the right food. Now, did I want to hear that? Not really. But was he totally right? Of course he was, Benji. So, to me, it's like the same thing. You remember what I said? Yesterday I had to go shopping. And why? Because the foods in my fridge were the wrong color. There wasn't enough color in my fridge. And I can hear him, really. And he goes, eat the colors of the rainbow. And I'm going, what colors I got in my fridge? Yellow and white. No, that's not good. That's not good. I got to go shopping. I've run out of green, red, yellow, the other yellows. And I literally went shopping for fruit and vegetables. Jeannie's saying a poet friend passed always said, everything's going to be all right. Even if it isn't, it will still be all right. Yes, Jeannie, isn't that true of what we both are going through? What your whole house was destroyed. And everything's still going to be all right. I wonder whether anywhere in your wild thinking you thought it was time to upgrade the house. Did you ever think about that? That, maybe it was time to renovate, but you didn't have the money? Because you see, I think this whole thing about change is if we really want it, it happens. Not the way we necessarily want it, but, if you had been saying that at any way, it's amazing how those things happen. You wanted to improve the kitchen. Are you going to be improving the kitchen? Now, the interesting thing that I found, that the insurance guy, the day after the fire, because the fire happened at night, the insurance guy, when he walked into my devastated house the day after, he went and checked it all out as far as he could with the fire marshal, and then he came to talk to me. And boy, I want to tell you, and Jeannie will tell you, that they hit you with 3,000 bits of information in the space of about like here, and you're meant to, retain it all. Luckily, I made sure I had people around me that could remember the bits that I couldn't. And I do recommend that if you're in shock. Make sure you've got other people with you because they will remember the bits you can't. But one of the things he said to me is, Sal, we're going to find you somewhere nice to live. And I said, what? And he said, I can tell, even with the devastation, you are a very elegant person. And here I was sitting, with my clothes covered in fire retardant. And he said, I can just tell by walking in the house. He said, how elegant you are and how much you like light and how much you enjoy order. And I'm going, you got to be joking, seriously. I didn't say that. And I just went, thank you. And I thought he obviously hasn't been in the studio yet. But, isn't it interesting that the whole reason that they are giving me the apartment to move into now is because they know I need light and space and order. And I need not to be in a basement. I need to be where, there is light. And I thought that was really interesting that that's, part of who I am. They didn't want to change. Now, so some things we need to change, and some things people will see that they're part of your life. And that whatever else changes, you're only going to be happy if you are in this sort of environment. Does that make sense? Jeannie's saying she actually knew she wanted better countertops, better flooring, and a turntable in one drawer. Yes, turntables are wonderful things. I've got one in my kitchen cupboard that doesn't work very well, but I love it. A double layer one that wasn't put in properly. I'm going to get somebody to fix that. Yeah, one of those ones to pull out pots and pans. Yes, that's wonderful. That's what I've got in the corner cabinet, but unfortunately it wasn't put together the right way. So when you think about it, Jeannie, you asked for these things, you wanted these things, and you're going to get them probably, right? And I have spent a year or more with backache, hip ache, and all sorts of things. And I've spent now, 2 weeks sleeping on good quality mattresses. And guess what? My back doesn't hurt anymore, and my hip has, touch wood, hardly given me any problems. So what do I now know? I know I need a good mattress. When I start buying things again for the thing, I need a good mattress. That's no maybe about it. And so, you look at these things that everything that happens maybe is for a reason. I found out that I can survive pretty well in 400 square feet if I have to, but I knew that because I was happy being a camper. Yes, Jeannie's saying buy a great mattress and use good pillows. Yes, I must admit the pillows here are magical as well. Yeah, and Jody's saying, I'm so happy to hear that your pain has lessened. So, Jody, I'm just wondering whether any of your pain would be alleviated if you were able to get, maybe a new mattress or, sleep on something that supports your body better. Maybe it's an air mattress that you can pump up. Yeah, because I don't mind telling you, Jody, it has totally changed the way my body works. So go back again if we can. What I've noticed is smaller space, eating less, but also less steps. And so for me, it's like now I know I'm going into winter. It started to rain heavily already. I've got to do more. I'm going to have to phone Benji so we can walk together more. Yes, and Jody's saying that the hospital bed that she has a less than stellar mattress. So think about this, and that is maybe this is something that you may want to think about. Maybe putting a blow-up mattress underneath the less than stellar mattress will give you the support. that you don't have to spend, $1,000, Jody. Maybe just, and I did that for a while, is I put a blow-up mattress underneath my mattress that was failing to help me. I also know that because my bed is a hospital bed and bends all the time, that actually, breaks up the mattress pretty quickly as well. Kimmy's saying mattress costs too much money. Yes, I am looking for one because my legs are going numb and hurting. Yeah, your legs are probably going numb because of the diabetes. Is that possible? That sounds like neuropathy to me. I'm not a doctor. Sorry. Let me take a step back. But I do know that since that one of the signs of my diabetic problem was that I was losing feeling in my feet. So I would say that, this is one of the things that is worth saving for. And, that is what I would say. And Jody suffers from that nerve pain to a tremendous degree. And so she totally will relate to that. Okay, so Jeannie's just having a thought here about the pain thing. The point that I'm trying to make, though, is this, that life has a funny way of changing your life to show you the route you need to take. Does that make sense? That if you're hitting against a brick wall and you're not changing because you don't want to change, you're stubborn or whatever, hello, welcome to my world, that life has a way of going, excuse me, you're not listening. Now will you listen? And, what I think is really important is that we understand that we understand that if we don't do something about it, life will do something to make sure. I've often asked Jody that, I cannot imagine what it was like to be the person that she was, and then to be diagnosed with cancer, and then fight her way out of cancer, only to be told, well, I'm sorry about that, but what we did to cure the cancer now has created lymphedema. And now you're going to swell up like an elephant. And you better get used to it because that's who you are now. And then, let me give you fibromyalgia and neuropathy problems from diabetes. I mean, really, it's like, hello? And then part of me that goes, what did she ever do to deserve that? I don't think that. I think really all of that has slowed Jody down. And in slowing down, she has gained so many things. And to me, that is the lesson. Not what we lost, but what did we gain? Jeannie's saying that light night exercises can help the leg and back. Yes, pain. I quite agree. And, that's why I was saying that, people laugh at me when they watch me just sitting doing this every now and then. But you know what I found out? Just, rolling my arms, brings up my heart rate, uses a loss of muscles. If you lie in bed on your back, and try this for a change, just lie on your back and do the exercises that you need to do. I'm amazed. I can lie on my back and I'll stretch the one leg right out, literally push it right out while I'm just quietly lying in bed. And then I'll let it come back again. I'll push the other leg all the way out as far as I possibly can. And I'm amazed the things I can hear click and creak when I do that, and then let it go again. And then I lift the whole of my pelvis up while lying in my bed. Just lift the whole of my pelvis up. Not easy to do. And then I will stretch and put my shoulder blades well back into the mattress, right? Literally push my shoulder blades right back into the mattress and then relax them again and then push them right back. The amazing the exercises you can do just by lying on your back in your bed. And then, if you throw off the duvet for whatever for a while, pull your leg up to your chest and hold it if you can. It's like even if you can't stand up and do them, you can lie down and do them. The whole thing that I like to think of, if I don't stretch these muscles, I'm going to lose them. And so it's a bit like the whole thing about the pre-diabetic thing. All right. I had a choice to change what I was doing and not be full-blown diabetic. I probably will struggle to stay at pre-diabetic. I might not ever get back to normal, but I know now how to control the bad stuff. And so it's up to me. I don't have to do it. I'm certain a lot of people don't. But by changing what I eat, I can keep control. Look at Jody. Jody has done so much in changing what she eats and how she eats it that am I right in this, Jody, that you are about to come off insulin? I mean, that must feel like, I hope that you realize how incredibly impressive that is, to have been an insulin-dependent person and that you've changed your diet so much that you qualify for coming off. I know how I felt when my doctor said, you don't need to be on heart meds anymore. And I went, what? He said, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, you don't need to be on heart meds anymore. Well done. Jody's saying, I worked a 50-plus hour week and rarely slowed down until I was forced to. My perspective on the importance of finding joy in every day comes from hard lessons. That's why I'm a mother hen about self-care. And she also has double standards. I just want to tell you, what she asks me to do to look after myself is not necessarily what she always does for herself. So I remind her of that. Kimmy's saying, I like to do exercises in the kitchen. I hold on to the counter. Yes, great place to do press-ups against the kitchen counter. I do that as well. And then take one small step back and do it again. Uses a whole different set of muscles. Oh, Jody's saying I shouldn't tell people about that. Too late, Jody. Too late. So you understand, I'm pretty sure that if any of us had come to Jody 2 years ago and said, Jody, you're on insulin, well, you're going to change your eating habits so much in the course of the next couple of years that you won't have to take it anymore. Sandy, do you need to hear this story? You see, because this is like, Jody chose to very slowly, very systematically change what she was eating and how she eats it. I remember Jody talking to me about intermittent fasting, and I thought, that's really dangerous, for a diabetic. One of the things they always say is you should eat regularly and do this, that, and the other. And, but I kept watching what she was doing and how well she was doing because of it. And I'm going, maybe I need to try that. And now, because of what Jody taught me, I had, before the fire, I was literally getting up every day and I wouldn't eat until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I wouldn't need to. All right. So, it's like these things, these changes that we make, sometimes we don't make them immediately. But what I want you to know is when you are ready, when you need it, you can do it. Jody said, I don't think that would be happening without your support cell. You are my accountability partner. Now, that's another interesting thing, is that, if you want to change, you need to have somebody you can be accountable to. Because you've been BSing yourself all your life, right? So that doesn't work. We know that. And one of the reasons I started the subgroup of DearMamaSal, which was the fitness group, which, by the way, isn't about fitness, it's about mental fitness. One of the reasons I did that was to show people that if you actually checked in every day and told people the truth about, what your blood pressure was or what your sleeping habits were or whatever, it actually gets you doing the stuff you need to do. It actually helps you change. And I'm pretty certain that Laurel will tell you that when she was part originally, but she wasn't really checking in on anything. And then one of the things that we noticed was that Lauren wasn't sleeping very well. So Jody and I got after Lauren and said, why don't you do what we do, which is check in every morning and tell us how many hours sleep you had. And, the amazing thing was that with not only did her sleep time completely change, but the type of sleep she has now is just amazing. And Jody says, I can't get away with squat having Sal as my accountability partner. And the interesting thing is, though, that I look at it and go, it's a slow, Jody. And she said, and that saved my life. Wow. And I'm so happy. I'm very selfish, Jody. I'm so happy that it did, because, where would I be without you backing me up? So, I look at it and say, what is it you want to change? What is it in your life that you want to have changed? And so start talking about it. And one of the things that, if you remember, just before the Great Fire at my house, I was telling you it's a really good idea to sit in each room and give thanks for what you've got, and then decide what it is you'd like to change. And I did that at the back end of my house. I kept sitting there going, well, yeah, but I really would like a new bathroom. So, and I'm going to get it. And a new boiler, a new roof, new insulation. So I look at all of this and go, a lot of change. If I can handle the change, I will end up with a house that is probably put, quite a bit of extra value. I'm actually going to have a realtor go through and give me a new price on it after it's done. And by the way, I'm going to take note of how much money was spent on actually doing the renovations, because that will go into a document that says I bought it at this, but since then I put in a new bathroom, put on a new roof, new insulation, new wiring, new water heater, new this, that, and the other, and that's why the price is now this. Jeannie's saying, Jody, you're so special, and you're teaching many things to the rest of us like Sal does. Yes, I would say that Jody actually is a natural-born teacher. She probably didn't want to acknowledge that, but she really is. And I certainly want to tell you, she's probably, no, not probably. She has taught me more about diabetes than the experts did, because she was there all the time. She answered all the questions I had. And Jody's saying, oh, Jean, thank you so much for your kind words. You teach me something every day. You see, this is the whole reason why having a support group like this is so important. We teach each other. I'm pretty certain none of you thought this was going to happen to me, right? I am pretty certain none of you thought any minute now, Sal is going to end up with a whole new learning experience, and she's going to share us. She's going to share that information, right? And, Jeannie, I'm pretty certain that you didn't think that your journey was going to help me on mine, because you are that many months ahead of me in terms of what is happening. And, we probably will finish up about the same time, I would think, Jeannie, because mine has less demolition to do, I think. But I may have to wait some time for the permits. And for some of you, to know that to hear this week, as I did, that another 15 minutes would have been the end of my house. So the work that I did in those 15 minutes until the fire engine arrived saved my house, no doubt about it. And, to hear that confirmed again, that, this is like, I obviously wanted to save my house, and I did what was necessary to do that. And was that brave? I've noticed some of you saying you're such a hero or whatever. No, it wasn't brave, believe you me. That was survival. Like, excuse me, that's my house you're playing with. Now go away. I really saw it as a very personal battle. Can any of you relate to that? It was like, there's the devil, and this is me, and I'm going to do everything I can to keep that devil at bay until the people who know how to deal with him come to help me. And Jody's saying it was my mission to help you, Sal, after the diagnosis. This is about the pre-diabetic. I didn't want you to struggle needlessly, and also meant that my diagnosis was not in vain because I could help. And, not only me, but look at Sandy. How much are you helping Sandy? How about Nyasha? You see, Jody, what you didn't know was that you would actually be attracting other people that needed your help. And, I'm pretty certain that we all had the same reaction when Nyasha actually took a picture of the back of a can of fruit juice and said, "Is this any good?" You see, we all talked about it enough and showed enough pictures that now suddenly she wants to read the back of cans. I cried too. I don't know about the rest of you, but I cried and I went, "She's getting it." Well, I did, Jody. I don't mind telling you. Because I went, wow, she's actually looking now. But I believe it was because all of us were showing her what our meals looked like, what our cans looked like, what we were looking at. Sleep well, Jeannie. Thank you so much for the kind cards that you sent me. And I really appreciate the fact that you have been with us the whole time that you've been going through your struggle. And you will never, ever really understand how much you've helped me. Thank you for that. And so we look at it and go, sometimes we work really hard to try and work out, well, I'm not sure what I'm here for or what I'm meant to do or whatever. I'd like to encourage you to know that don't worry so much about it, because life will bring the experiences to you, the ones that you need to learn. Have you noticed that? The funny thing is that, I've always said that life will put the next hurdle in front of you, and if you manage, you'll hit the hurdle many times until eventually you learn to jump the hurdle, and then unfortunately as soon as you jump that one, the next hurdle is up ahead of you. But it is just a case of that you don't have to worry so much. I've said to Jody time and time again, I seriously have always believed that the people that need to find DearMamaSal will find her. It's not, and it's just like I've always believed that. I've always believed that the people that need our help will find us in whatever way they will find us. Now, it is a weird thing, quite honestly. And what I try to do, if I can, is to keep in flow with the people that are coming in. So at this particular year, we've got a lot of people with diabetic and eating issues that are going on. So guess what? That's where I'm going to put the focus. And, it's just an amazingly simple process like that. And so to me, we will all grow with it. We will all learn. And by the way, I had a carb day today. These were crackers, not cookies, but crackers. Fairly healthy ones, I must admit, but they were crackers. And, I finished most of them today. So will I pay the price? Yes, I'm going to be interested to see if my edema flares up, because I've also noticed that since I've been in the hotel, I haven't been having edema problems either. But then I have not been eating a lot of bad stuff, like white flour and so forth. So I'm wondering now whether with, eating a whole container of crackers, will my edema start flaring up? In which case, won't that be a good lesson to learn? Jody says that, as you say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I absolutely do believe that. You said that to me after the first time I thanked you for a broadcast. Yes, I used to do that a lot, Jody, when I was speaking. I'd be up on stage and I'd be talking about something and I'd get this really strong message that says, you need to talk about da-da-da-da. And I literally would stop halfway through something I was talking about and I'd say, by the way, I don't know who needs to hear this, but da 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 da, and whoever it is that needs to hear this, please come and tell me afterwards, because I got that really strong message while I was talking about the other thing. And, I'd be amazed how many people would come up to me afterwards and say, I was that person, except it wasn't one. It would be 5 or even 10 people came up and told me that. And I'd go, thank you. You see, you have to listen to the instinct every now and then. Because your instinct, go with your gut a little more. And for some of you, that's a big change. You haven't trusted yourself or the way that you think a great deal. And, when you start doing that, you will be happier. You will actually listen to your inner voice a lot more. And so I look at it and go, what changes do I need to make in my life? Well, not too many, and a whole lot. I really thought that moving into my new house and unpacking one time, that took me 7 months, was the big change. That's what I thought the big change was. Didn't know a second one was coming so quickly. Yeah, Jody's saying that must have felt very validating to have several people approach you afterwards saying that was for me. Yes, it made me realize why I got such a strong instinct on it. And one of the reasons that I taught myself to talk with 1/3 of my mind, I used 1/3 of my mind to actually do the speech that I came to give. And I take 1/3 of my mind to study the audience, be very aware of how the audience is reacting to things. Because if you watch an audience, they will tell you what they want to hear. Literally, by the way that they suddenly, they'll all be sitting back like this and you'll change tack on something and they'll all suddenly lean forward and, with big eyes like sponges. And you're going, well, I guess they wanted to hear about that. And then, it's just amazing. If you watch an audience, it's like a ballet almost. And then the other third was to take what the front part is talking about and work out how you're going to change this front part and incorporate what you just saw happen and then make that flow and make it look like you actually meant to say it in the first place. And I think that's called skill, that you make it look easy, right? That you don't, you don't hesitate about it. You're just going, okay, I just saw what I saw. And then what am I talking about this? How do I do that? And the other thing that was a real little trick that I used to have, and it worked so well, is that I carried inside my jacket of my suit or whatever I was wearing, I would carry a stopwatch. And a little one, and it would vibrate. And I would hit that stopwatch when I got up to speak. And it would give me a vibration when I had 5 minutes left. No, I lie, 10 minutes left. And the reason I needed that vibration was that whatever I was talking about, when I felt that vibration, now I've got 10 minutes to finish what I'm talking about, set up for the finale, and then finish on time. Can you imagine that? So I'd feel the vibration, concentrate on what I'm talking about, because I got to wrap that up and segue that into the exit time. I've always said that the most important parts of any speech are probably the first 3 minutes and the last 3. And the rest of it is filler in between. But, and it was amazing how many times I would literally walk off stage and the organizer would say, I can't believe you finished that exactly on time. How did you do that? I said, it's called professional. And keep walking. Jody is saying, interesting. I once had a training supervisor tell me she could judge her presentation by my body language. And she knew when I slouched in my chair that the group needed a break. Yep, absolutely. And that's the whole thing. And one of the things I always said to Benji as well, very important point. And I've said this to him, and I said, this is the biggest mistake that speakers make. The most important question you can ask is, who is in the audience? Because we assume we know who is in the audience, what their level of expertise is, what they're there for, or whatever. And my experience told me it was amazing how wrong you could be. The same thing is that I am aware just by experience now that, I can be talking to, a few of you in the room, but, there are these other people that are listening. They're either listening on the replay or listening and not talking to us in the room, that are living the moment. And so, it's really important when I think about that is that we actually affect the lives of more people than you guys will ever know. And that is important to me. So when we talk about change, it's not easy to change. And sometimes we fight it a great deal. So for those of you who are in the room right now, what is it that you need to change? What comes up for you when I talk about change? I believe that we all know what needs to change. I knew what needed to change in my house. I know this was something that I don't do anymore, and yet I did it today. Why? I think because I'm not feeling very well. Now, that's an excuse, but it's also a reality, is that when you're not feeling very well, your body craves different things. Is that the ultimate excuse, or is it true? Is it a fact? I'll wait for our expert to tell me that one. All right, Jody's saying that for her, the change is she needs more patience, not judging herself against impossible standards. Yes, you're really tough on yourself. And yet, Jody, the funny thing is that you wouldn't dream of doing that to somebody else, all right? So part of what I would beg you to do is to ask yourself, when you're doing this judgment of yourself, would I ask that of other people? And if the answer is no, then ask yourself, why do I demand it of myself when I don't think other people should do it? And I don't know what the answer is to that, Jody. Do you know what it is? You see, Jody's saying, true, when I have a migraine or feel down, I crave carbs, specifically white bread. I had fruit bread today and a packet of crackers. Now, the trick is, how much water am I going to drink? I've got another bottle, luckily, here. So how much water am I going to drink tonight before I go to bed? And then how long am I going to be up all night? And we'll know how well I did by what my reading is tomorrow, right? See, that's the joy about being diabetic. Not being diabetic, pre-diabetic. And the other thing is, what do I know? If I've had carbs, I need protein. So my after broadcast snacks will be cheese, and maybe I'll boil up a couple of eggs, and just have a couple of eggs, or even maybe scramble some eggs for dinner, with some bacon. That'd be nice. All right, so Jody's answer was, I don't want to let anyone down. It's my joy to support others. I'm in competition with myself. Yes. Isn't that interesting how many people think that when they join the fitness group that they're trying to compete with the other people in the room? I think one of the greatest learnings is the person you're in competition with is only yourself. and that it doesn't matter what you're reporting every day. What you're doing is you're being accountable for what you're doing. And that is the important. It's not like, oh, well, I slept more than Sal did or less than Sal did or whatever. That's not the point. The point is, when you report in every day, I know when Jodie's off. Why? Because I know what her numbers should be looking like. Even though her numbers are very different from mine, I know what they should be looking like. So when they go off kilter, I know she's not doing too well. And she doesn't have to even tell me. I know just by the numbers she's giving me. If she tells me she only had 3 hours sleep, what do I know? She was in pain. It's just like, it's not what I call difficult. And I know, what else do I know? If she's in pain, she needs some extra support. So Jodie's saying, I also refuse to give in to my limitations. Yes, there's a difference between the reality of limitations and giving in to them. If you remember that yesterday I had the choice, which was to curl up in bed and forget about the day, or go and do something that would be achievement. All right? And I felt a lot better for going out and doing something. Today on my list, I really did have just two things to do. Why? Because I knew I had 2 broadcasts to do, and that would take a lot of my energy, so I didn't overload my day. And one of them was to go and return the clothes, which I got done. And the other one I also got done. I can't remember what it was. So is it okay to just be aware? There's a difference between not doing anything and then, or just going, I will do as much as I can within my limitations. But, only we know when we're fooling ourselves, right? And I think, quite honestly, for a lot of my life. Oh, thank you. That was yesterday, Juliana's card. Yesterday, I banked the check that my sister sent me and mailed Juliana's card and got the surprise of having the box with the quilts arrive and Jeannie's very kind cards. So, it's just like, I just try and find 1 or 2 things to do. Oh, the other thing, is, I found somewhere to live. That was a big achievement. And that thing has taken me a whole week of doing stuff. And by the way, isn't it funny that the people with the apartment saying that it was available happened, and then this morning I heard from the RV site that they didn't have anywhere for me for the winter, but they'd let me know if that changed. And I just said thank you. I didn't say I don't need it. I just said thank you very much, because I don't know what can happen to the apartment. Plan B, keep plan B open. Once I'm in the apartment and I don't need anything else, then I can let go of the site, but not until then, if it comes available. So 1 step at a time. How many times have we talked about that? Every day, I sort of, the top of my list is I need somewhere to live. So every day, what 1 step can I take? All right, Jodie, that's fair. Jodie's going not only B, but C, D, and E as well. Yeah, actually, you're right. I still have those other options. And I will keep doing it. That's who I am. That's part of what I taught Benji years and years ago. Don't ever only have plan A. Plan A very rarely works. Imagine, how many things in your life if you'd only had plan A. The other thing is, I'm a great believer in, this whole business about going out and doing 1 or 2 things a day, go get some fresh air, right? Why? It's so easy just to sit in the hotel room and do nothing and just sit and watch the television. It's so easy to do that. But, why? It's just like, no, I need to go and do something. I need to go and get a change of air, a change of scenery. I need to go and interact with human beings. be it socially distant, but I need to go and interact with people. And as you know, on Sunday, I'm going out to dinner. And then again on Monday, I'm going out to dinner with my neighbors. So, yeah, it's my pod of people that I allow myself to interact with. But it's really, really important. And by the way, I went to go and see the one neighbor to deliver the clothes, and I knocked on the door and I didn't get an answer, and was pretty sure she wasn't there because the dog didn't react either. She's got a big golden retriever. And the funny thing was that I sent her a text and said, just want to let you know that I, left the clothes on your doorstep, but I put them out of the way so people couldn't see it. Just to let you know that they're there. Thank you so much. And she said, well, why didn't you ring the bell? Oh, why didn't you let me know that you were there? And I said, well, I rang the bell twice. And she said, but the bell doesn't work. And I said, there's nothing on that bell to say it doesn't work. All I thought was it has a magical ring that, humans can't hear or something. And then I said, but I actually did lightly knock on the door. And she said, it must be very light because my dog didn't even hear you. Oh, yes, Jody. I'm glad that it works, doesn't it? Jody's reminding me of another one of a Salism. This one, when you leave a room, take one thing with you that doesn't belong in that room and take it to the room where it belongs. Just one thing. You don't have to tidy the whole room. And I now have little places where I leave things. In the house, in Sunshine Cottage, I used to have, a cubie, 3 cubies in the house, one in the end of the house, one in the middle, and one in the kitchen area. And so if I found something in the kitchen or dining room or living room that didn't belong there, and what I do is I drop it into that bin. And then when I went from that area into the craft room for something, I'd take the bin with me. All right. And then I'd empty it of the things that belonged in the craft room. And then if I went into the washroom, I'd continue the journey. Does that make sense? Welcome back, Benji. So, what I did was I learned to do that. But, I had this rotating 3 bins, cubies that went around my house. And it worked so well. Sometimes I would just drop it in. I'd be busy putting my makeup on. And I'd go, what's this doing here? Okay, let me go drop it in the cubie. And then I'd carry on with my makeup. And then I'd find something else saying, that doesn't belong there. Let me put it in the cubie. By the time I moved out of the bedroom after, putting on my makeup and getting dressed and everything, and not in that order, and then, making my bed, by the time I went to do the next thing, which would normally do the wash or whatever, I already had a cubie full of stuff that didn't belong in the bedroom. And it works really, really well. So even if you've got a little basket or a little box that you can put somewhere, that's a good idea. I found, as I said at lunchtime today, that I've started collecting stuff even in a hotel. And I've now got an office box, and I've got my larder. I've got a box with groceries in it. That's now full. And I've got a baby fridge that's pretty full and colorful. So I'm beginning to get these sort of things. Now, what I realized, if I move to this apartment, because, I'm already thinking about being there, that's how my mind works now that part of it's sorted. Now I'm thinking, what will I need? I'm pretty sure that it's going to be at the end of a corridor and it's on the 4th floor. And I won't have the hotel cart to help me carry groceries up in the elevator and so forth. So what do I need? I need a little granny cart, if you know what I mean. And I not only am going to get myself a little granny cart, I'm going to get one of those ones that walks upstairs, because I don't know if I have to negotiate some stairs as well. That if you have to go up a flight of stairs, this granny cart has the 3 wheels on it that make that easier. So, those sort of things. I'm going to be ordering that up, ready for when I move. I will also start thinking about what equipment will I want for the next 4 months, maybe 6 months, and start warning the insurance guys that this is, these are the things that I need out first. Jodie's saying it'll be the most stylish granny Canada ever saw. Not necessarily. It'll be the most functional one that I've seen. I've seen the one. I've actually put it in my cart at Amazon, and I will be actually emptying that cart pretty soon and having them deliver it to me. So, I be prepared, right, for the next part of the journey. That's what I'm doing. And I've got until November the 3rd to get that sort of stuff organized. I'm going to need probably a few more clothes. That's so cute. That is so cute. Sharon saying, we'll add glitter and rhinestones to my cart. You want it to become a Dear Mama Sal cart, right? Well, I really do feel like I've become a bag lady. Seriously, people. But, so I'm thinking about, okay, fine. You think that 3 outfits is really going to make it for you? I can live with 3 outfits. You can't, quite honestly. Why are you going to wash them? And I'm getting really good at, literally throwing. My new laundry system is my shower. I just huck all my stuff into the bathtub at night. And in the morning when I shower, I just walk all over them. How many of you can see me doing this? It's called my new washing machine thing. And then I just, rinse them all off before I get out of the shower. And then I hang them on the inside of the shower curtain during the day. And then by the evening, they're normally dry enough to hang outside of the shower area. And it's just like I've got this rotating system now. But I find that, I've got this tracksuit and my blue one, and then I've got the black outfit that I've got for evenings. But, it's like, really? I'm getting a bit tired of that already. And then I'm thinking, well, they're going to let me have my clothes back sometime. So I'm going to start asking them how long before I get my winter clothes, just so that I've got an idea of because, it's like the rotation of stuff is important. I'm certain Jeannie will tell you the same thing. You think that, 3 outfits is a lot better than not having any, believe you me. How about that? Sandy's saying, oh my gosh, my mother had just told me that she does something similar. Yeah, about doing her laundry. I want to tell you, I've always washed my bras in my shower, when I'm showering. I just huck them in the shower stall so that when I shower, I will, wash them and rinse them out and let them dry. Hand wash them always. So, it's interesting, isn't it? Jodie's saying, the shower fell down in the middle of the night and I nearly had a heart attack. I almost fell out of the recliner. Yeah, I did think about that because today I put a wet sweatshirt on there. Benji's saying, well, I didn't even know that was a thing. Which one of the many things, Ben? Doing your washing in the shower? By the way, Benji, I've really put that trick of mine about how to get free filtered water at a hotel. I want to tell you something. Every night I go and fill up my ice bucket, and by the morning I've got plenty of fresh filtered water for the day. And it's just like, it works like a charm. I'm just delighted. And I'm probably going through 4 of these bottles a day. I mean, I get one every morning for free on my breakfast, what's it called? The Happy Pack? The Happy Kit. Also go to the gym and find their water cooler. Yes, but you know something, Benj, that now with COVID, most of the gyms are closed. The gym here is closed. Now their pool is open, but their gym is closed. I've got to find out where I'm going. I know has a full gym in it and some other things like that. And I'm going to find out if any of those things are open. So we all take, that change as well. Just before I, get off that topic, let me talk about that. How many of you have noticed that I was talking at lunchtime about please be doubly aware of, you probably by now you're getting a bit sloppy about washing your fruits and vegetables. But as we go into the fall and winter, or in Lauren's case, spring and summer, as you change this, it really is time to think about, hey, I need to really step up my due diligence on cleaning fruit and vegetables. Sandy's saying in Ontario, they just closed our gyms in certain places. Yes, the gym here, funny enough, the swimming pool is open, but not the gym. I don't think the new place I'm going to has a swimming pool, but it does have a full gym. So I will find out about that and let you know. And, that would be a great thing in the winter if I, go down there and, sanitize it properly, to actually go down there and do some work in a gym. That one of the things I will miss, and there are a couple of things I miss already about the change of moving here into a hotel while they rebuild my house. But one of the things I miss is how safe I felt there. Isn't that strange? Because you remember that was a concern of mine when I first moved there, but I realized how much I didn't even bother to lock my car in that community. Or just, when I walked at night, I never felt that it was dangerous for me to walk in the community area, because I could, it's like a half-mile walk around the community where I live. Yes, Jody, it's funny you should mention that. Can I add the balance disc to my things to get soon? Yes, I will. That's a very good point, Jody, and I will put it on. I've got a vote as well. That's high on my list. I actually got my voting papers. But yes, funny you should say that, but I know that I will get it soon because it keeps showing up on my list of things that they have to throw away. Balance disc. That really worked well for me. And if any of you are aware of what I did, what was it, $20 or something for that balance disc? And, what I did is I put it in a doorway. So whenever I went through the doorway, I'd stand on it. And the doorway would be there to help me balance if I needed it. But it's amazing how much my hip improved and how much my core strength improved. Yeah, it actually worked better than all the other things I tried before it. And it was such a simple thing to do. So, you know what I'm thinking? I'm wondering how much damage the Turtle Gym went through, because I did say I needed a new Turtle Gym. It's interesting, isn't it? Yes, it's an amazing thing that momentary balance on that balance disc. I did not think it would work as well as it did. I was actually quite surprised. And the time I got surprised was the day I stood on it and realized I wasn't holding onto the sides to stay balanced. I actually just walked onto it and stayed there. And I went, wow, I can actually balance on this thing now. And that, again, wasn't about the fact I tried it once. No, I got on there and I overbalanced every time for about 3 weeks. And then suddenly on the 4th week, I got on it and I could balance. And I can feel the difference going up and downstairs, although going up and downstairs is still a little bit challenging for me. I've got to be quite honest. And I give preference to that hip. But I'm going to do everything I can to keep that, hip in motion. If I don't use it, I will lose the use of it. There's no doubt about that. Any other questions before we end this? Anything that is pressing for any of you that you would like me to talk about or you would like to talk about? Any other questions that I can answer that I haven't already answered? I am going to do my best to work through the video that I have got and release it as I can. I know it's 2 weeks later than the event, but that's okay. I did put down some video soon after the event, and I will continue to have these moments where, you know, my life changes again. Jody's saying you got to love a woman that sets up an obstacle course in her home to keep mobility. I love that. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I literally, if you can imagine a little mini steeplechase or show jumping arena, that is what I had in my house. I know that some of you are going to shake your head and go, really, Sal? But, you know, in order to get into my bedroom, I had to walk over a box. Yeah, you know, like every time I went into my bedroom, I had to walk over a box. Every time I walked into my bathroom, I needed to stand on that. That's so kind of you, Izzy. Thank you. I needed to stand on the balance disc. You know, I had these little obstacles that Jodie's talking about in my house, and I will do that again. I will do it in the apartment once I get settled there. And so why? Because if I don't use my hips, I am going to lose the ability to use them. The other thing that I'm really aware of is that I need to be really much more aware of my posture. And, you know, it's so easy to sit and slouch or whatever. And what I'm trying to make sure I do is, you know, really start using my muscles a lot more. Oh, the other thing I need to get, and Jody, please remind me about this if I forget. I need to get some of that Velcro because I can feel my body is changing shape. And what appears to be changing is my waist measurement. And, you know, it's like, okay, fine, but these are brand new clothes. So if I'm changing my waist measurement now, the chances are I'm going to, you know, need to just bring in the size of my tracksuit bottoms for the fall. That would be good, wouldn't it? I actually, that's the other thing I haven't got here is my scale. So I haven't weighed myself since the fire. So that'd be interesting to see. Has my weight changed after 2 months, 2 weeks of living in hotels? I wonder. We'll find out. Right? So Jody is asking, is there any support that you need that we're lacking in providing? Wow. If there's any support that I need and that I'm not getting, it will be because I haven't asked for it. But I cannot think of that. It is my, okay, Jody, I'm going to be as honest as I know how on this one. I personally believe it is my responsibility to not be lonely. The challenging thing about living in a hotel is, you know, you're living on your own. Your neighbors are not popping over, and, you know, life as you know it is not going around you. I'm not getting out and going and walking and talking to my neighbors on the way and, you know, chit-chatting as I did. So now it's a case of, okay, if I get lonely now, then it's up to me to do something about it. So what I've started to do is to make sure that I get out to, I'm trying to go out to dinner at least twice a week. And if I don't have anybody to go out to dinner with, I'm taking myself out to dinner, because we know that the insurance company will pay for me to go out for dinner, but they won't pay for me to go and buy good food to eat. That still blows my mind, right? So I can go and buy good fruits and vegetables to eat, and they won't cover that. But if I go out and have a hamburger, they'll pay for that. That's now, which is better for my mental health? I'm pretty sure I know. So, you know, when I look at that, although I thank you for the question, One of the things that I know is that, for example, I can call Benji if necessary and say, okay, Benji, I need to walk. So please let me know when you're walking this week so that, if I'm available, that I can walk with you. As you know, Benji and I walk remotely together. And it's really quite fun when we do it. And I'm thinking I can just walk up and down the hotel if necessary, but at least I'll be talking with him. And if it's not raining, I can walk around the car park. So there, it's about, if it is raining, I guess I can walk around the car park as well. All right. And yes, thank you, Jody. Jody's saying, okay, Sal, and thank you for your honesty. I'll remind you to continue to be extra kind to yourself. I have given myself permission to actually take the day off tomorrow. Why? Because I'm fighting a cold, as you can hear. I'm feeling a little run down. I'm feeling good. Don't get me wrong. But, I've just feel a little run down, and I'm thinking that I'm not going to wake up and go and get the happy bag tomorrow. I've got eggs and bacon and, enough stuff to make a good breakfast or brunch for myself. And I will pick up some ice so that I've got, plenty of filtered water. It's about the crackers I had. And so, to me, it's like, I think I'm just going to take the day, maybe stay in my jammies for the day. And definitely give myself as much rest as I need. All right. Hi, Nyasha. Good to see you. Nyasha, we were talking about you and saying how wonderful it is that you got to take pictures of your fruit juice and that you shared it with us. Thank you so well for that. Thank you so much for that, because what it told us is that you are now taking interest in that. It was amazing. Hi, Kez. Good to see you as well. Let me just see what Nyasha said. Hi, everyone. Not staying tonight. I actually forgot that there was a broadcast tonight, but I'm tired and sleepy. Take care, all. Mama Sal, how are you? I'm awesome. Thank you so much. And so great to see you. And continue the good work, Nyasha. We're so proud of you. You made a couple of us, cheer up with the fact that you are learning to look at those labels. It's all a big learning process, and I believe you, me, Nyasha. I know you'll not believe this, but I had to learn it too. And so just by the fact that you can show us the label and go, is this good, bad? The other thing I wanted to tell you something, Nyasha. I want to tell you that I got really quite upset to find out that fruit juice wasn't good for me. Do you know how much, one of the worst ways to take sugar in is through fruit juice. And you think because it's fruit, it's got to be healthy? Now, it's like dried fruit isn't healthy either, because it's way more sugar. So, but you will learn this, Nyasha, as I did, right? When I saw that you picked up and grape juice, and I'm going, poor Nyasha, she doesn't know that one yet, but she will. Yeah, Nyasha, just so you know, those of us who struggle with this, it's what we use when our blood sugar is too low. We go for the juice. Right? For example, yesterday I had started the day with about a higher blood sugar reading, and I went to go and take it in the afternoon, and it was down to 4 point something, and I went, no, that's too low. So guess what I went and got was some fruit juice. See, that's what we use when it goes the other way. So, keep it on hand. You know what I was thinking though, Nyasha? How much of that grape juice have you got? Did you buy a couple of them or just one? I had a great idea for you that you might enjoy. Because I know you're doing a really good job of drinking a lot of water with your meals. I was thinking, instead of just taking the fruit juice and drinking it, why don't you use the fruit juice to put a bit of flavor in your water? I don't know if you know that trick. Ah, so, literally, and that's, I know that you're looking for ways to get that taste without using up too much sugar. So you might think about, literally taking a glass of water and putting a little bit of the grape juice at the bottom and then filling it up with water. So you get that grape taste, but you haven't got a whole glass full of sugar. But now, when you look at those bottles, Nyasha, check, because you'll find there's a difference between grape juice and tomato juice and blueberry juice or whatever. All right. And just see which one has the least sugar in it, and try and learn to enjoy that. Or just put a little in and fill it up with water. It was so funny. I think about you more than you know, Nyasha. And I'm going, gosh, what if that's the only juice that Nyasha can get? And I went, okay, well, how can she use that so it's more healthy for her? Yeah, she could flavor her water with it. And so just, you still get the taste, but you won't get as much sugar. Let us know how it works. And the other thing is, I think your mom brings back fruit for you. Is that right? I gather. And you understand fruit contains a lot of sugar. So what I was thinking was you might want to do, does she bring you back grapes at all? Or are they too expensive? Because one of the things that you might want to do is to freeze your fruit. I'm thinking things like maybe, grapes or slices of strawberry or any fruits that you get. You might want to freeze them and then put a couple of bits of fruit, like ice cubes, into your water. You see, you're doing great, Nyasha. I'm so proud of you. You get great. I had a feeling that you probably did get grapes and apples. Yay, I got it right. Okay, so you understand what I'm saying. Take the grapes and do you have a freezer? And even freeze them in an ice cube tray. Put some, but you can just freeze grapes as they are, and then in your water, just put some grapes in as ice cubes, and then you get the flavor of the grapes in with the. Uh. Okay, so this is your ice. Have you got an ice cube tray at home? First of all, grapes, you can literally put put the grapes straight into the freezer. All right. Bye, Benj. Good to see you. So, but if you have, for example, you can make little ice cubes with little bits of maybe a grape and some apple in it, and then freeze them like that. And then once they're frozen, just put them into a plastic bag and keep them in the freezer. So when you have a drink, you can throw, those fruit ice cubes into your water, and it'll make it taste great. You'll have what they call infused water. It is very tasty. Now, if you want to make it even better, you can crush it all up before you freeze it in the ice cube trays. And that means that as it melts, it'll melt much more quickly and you'll get the taste more quickly. Does that make sense? So just literally mash up the grape and the apple together, maybe with a little bit of lemon juice if you've got it, and then put that mixture into the ice cube trays and then fill it up with water. And then freeze it like that, and then you'll get that taste. As you're drinking your water, that taste will come through. Do some experiments, Nyasha. And those sea grapes that you have that you talk about? They'd work really well frozen. I know. But I'm not joking, Nyasha. You'll be amazed how many times during the day I'm thinking, Now, what can we recommend Nyasha do about that? And I suddenly thought about that grape juice, and I thought, she could use that in her water. And what about, that's another idea. What about if you do the fruit with the grape juice ice cubes? Brilliant. Now you can have your water, throw in a couple of ice cubes. You've got the flavor from the yes, much better idea. Exciting. You can have so many experiments. And quite honestly, Nyasha, keep asking us the questions because that's how I learned. Yeah, have fun with it, Nyasha. Right? That's the whole trick. As you know, I'm always trying to learn what can I have, not what can't I have. All right. So if I know that, this is not good for me, I know that I just can't eat as much as I want to. I can still have it, but I just can't have very much. And today I had bad stuff, Nyasha. That's what I was saying earlier. But guess what? I'm drinking a lot of water, and I will still drink a lot more before I go to bed. Why? I know what I've had. I know what I need to do to balance it out. Make sense? That's what you're going to do, is you're going to learn how to do this. Because we all had to. So as long as you keep learning, you will keep finding, good ways to make it work for you and not push your blood sugar up too much. All right, everybody, let's just take a moment and go. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to curl up in a minute with my blankie, my two blankies. Did you see this, Nyasha? Pat made this for me and then sent me a second one for my new bedroom. So this is so wonderful. And by the way, I put this out on the hotel bed just now, and it looks so good on there. So we know it's going to look wonderful. I'm so excited. And thank you all. As Jody is saying, thank you to everybody. And I mean that. Yes. And please remember to give it a thumbs up if you found anything of value here. Nyasha's saying, because I love drinking juice, but my mom always says it has sugar. And so I love drinking the juice. So now I'm going to freeze the drink as ice cubes and drop it into the water. Yes, exactly. And throw some fruit in with it, and then you'll be absolutely. Well done. That's how we can do. Izzy, good to see you. And all of you, thank you for being here and supporting me. I really don't know how I would have coped with all of this without you all. So I genuinely thank you for that. I'm going to, I have been binge watching again. What have I been binge watching? I just thought I'd let you know this. Have any of you seen the program on Netflix? I think it's on Netflix, called Criminal. And they've got them from different countries, Criminal UK, Criminal Spain, Boy, I want to tell you, it's a really different show about, it's all about interrogation. And it's fascinating to watch. And each episode is them interrogating somebody. And I want to tell you something. I found it really, if you like psychology and you like that sort of stuff, it's really interesting watching. All right, Sandy, have a wonderful time. And Sandy, keep telling us about how your new pump thing is working, because I find it fascinating. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your support of one another. And thank you all, particularly, of course, for your support of me, because I'm very selfish. I really, really do value it. And you have no idea how much I've needed it, just in case you think that I am immune to this. I'm going to send you a big hug. Part of my job tomorrow is to read through the instructions on what they want me to do when I go to vote this year. When in doubt, read the instructions, right? And because I won't have Yvonne next to me, Yvonne and I have always gone to vote together, and we talk about it, and we make sure we both know what we got to do, and then we go and do it. And so, it's really quite funny. Or maybe I'm going to find a neighbor to go with me. So, Kimmy, keep up the good work. I know that it's been particularly challenging for you. And keep talking to us about the stuff, Kim, because you come up with good stuff. And I always value that input. So this is Dear Mama Sal saying look after one another, but please, 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 please. Remember to look after yourself the way you would look after your other friends here on Dear Mama Sal. Okay, so Niasha's saying the dietitian here told us to drop fruits into water and drink it as juice. I did that once or twice, but it never tasted great. But your method sounds tasty and healthy. So now I'm going to try it. There you go. So we'll see you all on Sunday. And thank you all. Big hugs to you all. Look after one another, but most of all, please, 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 look after yourself. Bye-bye for now.